It's time to feel what you've been bottling up. Life in rural America isn't easy. The long hours, the constant pressures, the demands of the land, livestock, and family, it all takes a toll. We're tough and we've got grit, but somewhere along the way, toughness started meaning bottling up emotions and powering through. But here's the truth. That strategy, it's not working and it's poisoning us. Maybe you've noticed and maybe you haven't, but the numbers don't lie. We're breaking down and it's showing up in our bodies, our relationships, and in the rising suicide rates in agriculture. You don't have to carry any of it alone. There's another way. If you're ready to stop being weighed down and start moving forward, my one-on-one Good Movement guidance is now open. Visit the link in the show notes to learn more and see if one-on-one guidance could be for you.
I'll carry you, you carry me, we'll help each other through it. Come on and see, Good Movement draws good movement.
Welcome to Good Movement Draws Good Movement, the podcast where farmers, ranchers, and rural folks can grow relationally through awareness, understanding, and effective communication. Hey, it's T. I'm your host, and I, along with my guests, will be covering topics related to drawing good movement. Things like self and social awareness, brain science, positive psychology, extending grace, and so much more. We'll share tools that can help you understand why you are the way you are, why others are the way they are, and how you can use that to step out of self-told lies with grace and compassion to draw good movement in conversations, relationships, and life in rural America. Let's go draw good movement. Welcome back to the Good Movement Draws Good Movement podcast. This episode was inspired by some conversation we were having during one of the Good Movement Collective calls a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about healing and how healing doesn't mean we never feel pain again in the emotional sense, but I have had this comparison analogy on my mind for a while, so I brought it up in the call and I told the gals about this scar on my knee and how it's been healed for nearly 30 years. I got the scar from surgery that I had on my knee when I was a sixth grader, and it pains me to say that was nearly 30 years ago, but it's the truth. So back to the scar. Most of the time, it feels great and I don't notice it. Jeans don't bother it. It's good. But then there are times it gets bumped just right and the pain is sharp. It doesn't last long, but it's dang sure there and I dang sure know about it, like sharp. So the same is true for healing our emotional wounds. It's very similar. The wounds are closed and they're healed and we're feeling good most of the time. That doesn't cause us pain all the time. But every once in a while, something might bump into us that causes us pain. It might bump that healed emotional wound and the pain is sharp and you dang sure know it's there. But it doesn't last long and it doesn't bother you every day. Healing is not about never feeling pain again. Healing is about closing that and so you can withstand everyday life. It's not open, it's not bleeding, it's not oozy, it's not gross. It's not about never feeling pain again. So when we first get a physical wound, it's raw, it's open, it needs care. Or maybe you're working on healing some old wounds and those need a little debriding or debriding. I never know how to say that word. Is it debriding or debriding? I don't know. But you get the picture. And also that might be another story for another episode, how to debride old wounds emotionally. The point here is the same goes for emotional wounds. It's open, it's raw, it needs our attention. And early in the healing process, everything seems to irritate it. Kind of like how even the softest of fabric or just a little bit of cold air or the softest touch can hurt an open cut or even a bruise. One time I fell off my horse and landed directly onto my right butt cheek. And let me tell you, that bruise was very sensitive, but I digress. Emotional healing requires time and protection and intentional care, just like the physical wound, just like that cut, just like my butt bruise. Anyway, if you keep exposing the wound to who or what caused it, it has a tendency to keep that emotional wound open. This is where setting boundaries and taking some space comes in, because sometimes we need space from situations, relationships, or environments that seem to just pick at that scab. We get it to the point of healing where we get a nice scab. It's not as painful, but then we're right back in the situation or right back with that person, and they just seem to pick the scab off. So by setting boundaries, we're not avoiding. That's not avoidance, but necessary care. You wouldn't rub gravel into your open cut or pick a scrape that's just scabbed over. And it's okay to set some boundaries to keep the figurative gravel and scab picking away while you heal emotionally as well. Some situations might require temporary distance, like a Band-Aid while your wound is fresh. Others might require a permanent shift in how you engage. If you got a scar that still remains sensitive, those nerves didn't heal quite right, you're always going to guard that a little bit. There's always going to be like a permanent boundary there with a physical wound and maybe also with an emotional wound. So when you're considering whether you need space or boundaries, you can ask yourself, is this situation preventing me from healing? Do I feel re-wounded every time I engage with this person or environment? Am I actually processing and healing, or am I just surviving? Am I just dealing with the pain? Am I just shoving it down or numbing in other ways? Just like a scar can still be tender when bumped, emotional healing doesn't mean you won't ever feel pain related to that wound. Some examples of emotional bumps: a conversation can unexpectedly trigger an old wound. A song, a smell, a place, all those things can bring back painful memories. Seeing someone who was part of the original hurts, the person who hurt you. And it's okay to say people hurt you. Even if they didn't do it intentionally, it still hurts. And it's okay to not deny that. Actually, by recognizing that you're hurt is one of the first and most important steps to healing. The difference between an open wound and a healed scar is the open wound means that the pain is constant and consuming. It's acute. It's there. You know about it. A scar means the pain is occasional, sudden and short-lived when something bumps it or, you run into something. Healing is about getting to a place where the pain doesn't last, not pretending it never existed. Again, that might go into the episode about the old wounds, the ones that you do numb, the ones that you do shove down. We might have to talk about that in another episode. So when you do get bumped, there are some things that you can do. Pause and acknowledge it. Oof, that hurt. Or you can add more colorful language, as I tend to do when I hit that scar on my knee. Then remind yourself that it's not a fresh wound. Your body and mind are reacting, but you're not back at square one. You're not back at square one. Then regulate your response. Breathe. Feel it. Let it pass rather than panicking or avoiding it. Then reflect. This pain means I've healed enough that it's rare. It's a sign of how far I've come. Recognize that you've healed, especially emotionally. Recognize that you've healed. Recognize how far you've come. That sort of self-compassion is really important. You don't get mad at your knee, or I don't get mad at my knee when it hurts and I bump it. I might get mad at whatever I bumped into, but I don't get mad at my knee. So why is it so easy for us to get mad at ourselves when an old emotional wound gets triggered? Healing does not mean that you're weak when you feel pain again. It means you're strong enough to handle it differently. It doesn't last as long. You are capable of moving through this pain. Healing, again, is not about never feeling pain. It's about shortening the duration and the intensity of the pain when it comes. If you're still in the open wound phase, be patient with yourself. Healing takes time. If you're further along and get bumped unexpectedly, let it be a reminder of how much you've already healed. And no matter where you are in the process, you're not broken. You are healing. So I want to invite you to ask yourself these questions. What wounds are you actively healing right now? Where do you need space to protect your healing? Have you been frustrated with yourself for still feeling pain? Feel free to share your thoughts and answers to those questions with me in a DM or an email, or you can even schedule a free 30-minute consult call where we can talk about it. And going back to this old wound possible podcast episode idea, if you have an old wound or even a fresh wound that you're not quite sure where to begin with the healing, definitely schedule that 30-minute consult call. I would love to talk to you about my one-on-one guidance, and that is what we do in there. We heal. And with that, until next time, draw good movement. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm so grateful for you. If you found value in this episode, I'd love for you to share with others who might also benefit from tuning in. Share by word of mouth, send it in a text, take a screenshot and post it on social media, or share however you prefer. And if you haven't already, hit the follow or subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Until next time, draw good movement.